Hello and welcome everyone to our podcast. My name is Don Putkela.
And I'm Angela Putkela.
And this is Welcome to Livingston, powered by the Putkela Group with KW, where we talk all about everything Livingston County. And every once in a while, talk a little bit about real estate as well.
Every now and again, but then today we decided to do something a little different, right?
Yeah, so today we are taking a step back from talking about those local businesses to talk about mindset a little bit and to talk about just the power of positivity in your life and you know, how to channel that, I guess would be the right word, wouldn't you say?
I would say so, but maybe we should start with why it's even important. Like why does positivity matter?
You know, I think that positivity is huge. I think the way you frame your day is so important, and having a positive attitude just brings more positivity into your life. Your mindset and how you look at the world and how you look at obstacles or problems in front of you, if you have that positive mindset,
The outlook,
you're able to build. You know, every day is a new opportunity. And every day, when you wake up in the morning, how you frame the start of your day is so important on how your day is going to roll out in front of you. That if you have a positive attitude, if you have a positive mindset, then you can see the opportunity in the day. But if you let that negativity come into your life, then you'll see the negative aspects of things, because every single thing that comes in front of you has a plus and a minus to it, right?
Right.
And are you going to choose to see the plus?
You know, and I think that negativity sort of erodes people's happiness and fulfillment. And, you know, positivity is really where it begins.
Well, I really think so. So, like, let's take myself, for example, right?
Yeah.
So I've taken this year as a very interesting year for myself, where I strive to get up early every morning. Some days better than others.
How early is early?
On good days, it's 4:45. So, you know, when I started the year, I did the first 70 days of the year every morning at 4:45. And every morning I would get up at 4:45. I'd get a cup of coffee, sit down, scroll through my phone for a positive quote. Yeah. So every day I would pick a positive quote. I would put the positive quote on Facebook, write 3 or 4 sentences about it, then read for a half an hour, then jump into the sauna and be in the sauna for 20 minutes.
He is finished.
I am finished. While I listen to Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
And that would be how I started every day. And I realized that the positivity that brought my life, to be able to look at things from a different aspect as the day went on,
it was remarkable.
Had a power that I didn't think of.
To watch, yeah. And you kind of dragged all the rest of us with you, which was kind of exciting. And I think we've all been, you know, myself and the kids, more positive because of it.
Right. And I will say that you have to do it every day, because even at 70, 80 days in, it was easy to be like, you know what?
Fall off.
I'm going to sleep in this morning. I'm not going to go to the gym today. We need a reminder.
Most days. I mean, even if you're waking up at 5:30 or 6, I mean, to me, I will not wake up that early. That is not my thing, but, you know, more power to you, A, but B, I'll still be as positive as I can be, right? Just maybe not quite as early.
Well, yeah. So for you then,
yes.
How important do you think positivity is for a person that's listening?
Huge.
What would you say?
Huge. It makes such a difference. Okay. I mean, I have one of my favorite quotes, and it's, the happiest people don't have the best of everything. They just make the best of everything. Right?
I love that.
Because I've known some people that just have everything, and boy, oh boy, they're just bitter and grumpy, and apparently it's not perfect. It's not everything, you know. It's, your life is what you make of it. And it starts with your perception. It starts with your viewpoint. You know, I'm part of the gratitude club, like I'm all about.
I know you love the attitude of gratitude, right?
Yeah. Like to me, we're all navigating in this really negative world out there. And I believe that the antidote there is gratitude, because by being grateful for anything, everything, that invites positivity in, and then it really allows you to appreciate any of the things instead of fixating on what isn't perfect.
Right. But I would say further, I would say that you have that right. But again, it's about perception. Mm-hmm. I would say that we do not live in a negative world.
Okay.
I would say that if someone believes that, then they're choosing to look at the negative things, and they're choosing to have a perspective that it's a negative world, because there's always positivity in every instance and in every situation you look at. If you look at the positive, then you can build the momentum off that positive, even if it's small, right?
Yeah.
You always look at the opportunity. So in every single instance, if you have a boulder in front of you, mm-hmm. are you going to stop? Or are you going to go around the boulder? Or are you going to break the boulder in half? Or are you going to climb over the boulder? There's a lot of options. There's so many options in front of you. Mm-hmm. But the negative option is it's a boulder and I can't do anything about it. So I think it's a little bit about perception.
I have seen people like that.
Right. So, but I love what you have to say though, because I think a big part of it is gratitude. I think a big part of it is always looking at the positive. And I think a big part of gratitude is pulling other people along.
Yeah, because everybody that interacts with you, you have such impact on your family, on your friends, on your coworkers, right? So why not make that a positive impact?
Right. So I see you put on there, who you surround yourself with matters.
Yes.
And you just touched on that a little bit. Mm-hmm. But do you want to expound on that a little bit?
I think I want you to.
I think that who you surround yourself with really matters. You don't get to pick your family, but you still surround yourself with them and you pull them along and you love on them and they love on you. But who you surround yourself in your personal life, in your business, right. It matters.
The choices you can make, right? You may have a family that isn't super positive, and you know what? They're still your family. But for some of the people that you do choose.
Well, I think even in all of those aspects, it's about helping each other. I think the people you surround yourself with matters, but having people that support you, having people that you can support, having people that build you up instead of tear you down, having people that believe in your bigger dream. And we're going to touch on vision here in a little bit, but I think that those things are so important because they lead to that aspect of a bigger life. They lead to that aspect of where did you come from, where are you going, and who you put around you helps in how quickly you're going to get there and if you're going to get there.
Yeah, if you're going to make it there at all.
Right.
Just almost like a secret of success.
Yep. No, that's very good. It's very, very good. So I guess, let's talk about vision for a second there then. I'm jumping around a bit. Is there someplace else you wanted to go to?
Well, my next bullet point was keeping your sense of humor.
Yeah, you do a better job of that than I do.
I do.
So let's have you talk on it.
Okay, then we'll move on to vision. How about that? To me, sense of humor is everything, because in life, I try to teach this to our kids. Okay, things are going to go wrong. Things happen sometimes. They work out differently than you might have expected or might have wanted. That's just a fact of life. And so when you can be able to laugh about it and go, okay, now what? Of like, this was not in the game plan, but you keep your sense of humor, you laugh about it, and that really puts you in more of a positive place to be able to take action, meaningful action, and decide with clarity where to go from there. You'll have obstacles, like you were saying with the boulder. Okay, let's figure out how we're going to get past this obstacle. But you keep it light. You try not to let the world get you down, and remember to laugh. You
do have to let things roll off of you, and you do have to find the humor in things, because some things will come across that if you look at it in the wrong aspect, suck. But sometimes it's funny. Sometimes there's humor in everything, right?
Right. So because if you're not laughing, then you're crying.
Well, we have to laugh, right? No, not at all.
Gotta laugh. So let's talk vision. You're my vision guy.
Well, I try. I think that, I talk a lot about my one thing. And there's a book called The One Thing that is an amazing book. And for any of you out there that are looking for books to read, I will talk about 5 or 6 books during this period. But The One Thing is a great book where one of the parts of it talks about your vision, talks about your big why, talks about why you're doing the things that you're doing and where it is you want to head and what is that motivation behind going where you're going. Because if you don't have a big vision, if you don't have a clear idea of where you're headed, then it's hard to put a map in place to get there.
Yeah,
right?
How are you supposed to get there when you don't know where you're going?
Right, but you need something big enough that makes you want to get up in the morning. You need something big enough. If your goals aren't huge, then your goals aren't big enough. Okay, yeah. Because if you have a goal and it's a monetary goal or it's a goal of I want to buy this car, what happens when you buy that car? What happens when you get to that monetary goal? Well, now you've reached your goal and you have to reassess your goals, or you don't have something to push you forward. But if you have a bigger picture in mind, these huge goals, then it's a reason to get up in the morning. It's a reason to push yourself and to keep headed in the right direction.
To always keep growing.
Always keep growing. If you're not growing, you're declining.
Yeah.
Time moves forward and we have to move forward and change within that. You can't stay where you're at, because if you stay where you're at, you're actually falling further behind.
Right. Honest to goodness.
Yep.
And that's why it's so important to just constantly always be trying and reaching and doing things.
Yes, it is. And I see your next point here is talking about negativity in a little bit, right?
A little bit. Like, we all probably get it, some too. Some of that, the self-talk, like in your head of like, oh, that's not going to work. Or why would you wear that? Why would you do that? Why would you say that? Or sometimes I've gotten a lot better over the years, but, there were times in my life where I would have trouble sleeping because I'm staying up rethinking how a conversation went or what I did, or like, oh, I can't believe I did that, and beating myself up over something when it just doesn't matter. You do your best, you say your best, and you move on. And I think for some of those negative thoughts, when you realize that they're there, to just try to shut them down is such a huge thing. And
right.
You help me out with that, because sometimes I will verbalize my negative thoughts.
Yes.
And you're like,
well,
better to be positive.
And I think the aspect of that, and, in KW, we call that a drunk monkey,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where we have this idea of the voice in your head saying that you can't do something, that if you just didn't listen to the voice in your head, it's not that bad and you could do it.
Yeah.
And it's better to try than to not do it at all. But one of the quotes I like, and I can't remember it exactly, it talks about the fact of your life is a book and every day is a new page of the book. Right. And you can't do anything about the story that you've already read, but you have 1000% control over where the story's headed. And to just look at that aspect on a daily basis of, what am I going to do today that makes my life better? What am I going to do today that makes somebody else's life better? What am I going to do today that pushes the story forward instead of staying where I'm at, right? So you have this aspect of, you can inject positivity into any situation. You can inject a breath of fresh air into somebody else's life. If you look at the what impact you can have both on yourself and on other people. And if you have that outlook into your day, then you have that positivity within that. And I believe that that creates momentum. And I believe that you can manifest something in your life just by thinking positively about it and having that thought in your head. We go to, I listen to a lot of Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
And he uses the aspect of, if you're going to buy a car, right?
Yeah.
The idea of, let's say I was going to buy a Tesla, which I'm not buying a Tesla, but no. One of my sons, he thinks that if we bought a Tesla, it would be the greatest thing in the world, because then when we picked him up at school, he would be the person being picked up in a Tesla. But the idea being, I see Teslas all the time because he is always talking to me about Teslas. And 6 months ago, I never saw Teslas on the road,
right?
Because I wasn't thinking about Teslas. I
couldn't have even told you what one looked like.
Okay, but the fact of that on a weekly basis, he talks to me about Teslas. Now
He planted that seed.
He planted that seed. It's present in my life. But the trick to it is it was always present in your life.
Yeah, it was always
You just
there.
didn't notice it.
Yeah.
And you have so much positivity and so much wonderful things that are there to support you and that are there to grab onto and to build from. And they're there. You just have to notice them.
And decide to focus on them.
And decide to focus on it.
What you focus on expands.
Yep.
So, if you feed the energy, feed your energy into good things, then that allows good things to happen.
And if you feed them into bad things will happen.
Right.
The converse is always true.
Yeah. So in terms of just putting that energy behind positive things and in terms of just inviting those great things into the universe,
Oh, yeah. No, like you make fun of me sometimes, or I always tell you that it's going to work out. It's not going to be an issue. We're going to be fine.
The times that I just was shocked, is there's, I see the obstacles behind the obstacles, and I've painted this whole picture of, oof, this is just headed south, and my Pollyanna husband is like, nope, it's going to work out. It's going to work out. And sure enough, I just shocked that it was, in this one moment, I thought of it was like the parting of the Red Sea. Like, to me, our level of success was 0. And to him, it was 100%. And sure as anything, you open the door and right there, he is right. It all comes together.
I think a big part of that is just faith in yourself, faith in other people, and faith that if you put in the work, it'll work out. But more so than that, in those types of instances, I 100% believe it's that if you think positively about something, positive stuff will happen. Is there negativity in the world? Yeah, there is. Do we need to spend time giving it energy? No, we don't. And I think that's the biggest part about it. So, we talked about, and you have social media on here, which I'll click on very quickly. I put those positive quotes out every day because I do think that you need more positivity in the world. And I do it for other people as well as myself. And I'm looking forward to years down the road where it says, 5 years ago today, you posted this, and then I get to see the positive quote I put out.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it drowns down the negativity a little bit.
Yeah.
And then the algorithm works wonderful ways. I put positive stuff out there, so then I get more positive stuff on my Facebook.
Yep.
So for all of you people out there, understand that if you're reading those negative articles, the algorithm is going to send you more negative articles. But if you read positive articles and you look at positive things, then it brings more positivity into your life. So if you think of life like that algorithm, that when you talk about something, it shows up on Facebook.
Yeah.
Think about it that way.
That's a great
Think
point.
about the positivity, and then it'll show up in your life. And you'll be at a place in your heart and your mind where you're able to recognize it and do something about it.
Awesome. I love that. I think that's really great. Dreaming big. That's
dreaming huge.
Part of why I'm with you.
Dreaming huge.
As we started dating many, many, many years ago, that's what amazed me about him is we were having this conversation and he was unlike anyone else I had ever known. And he just had
You're much too
big
kind.
dreams. No, I mean, it's the truth. You were going places. You had all these
It took a while to
big
get there.
ideas. And I didn't come from that. And it was really refreshing. And through all, the different chapters of life, that was one of the things I want to say with your book analogy, is not only are there pages, one page is from the next, you have different chapters in your life too.
You do have different chapters.
But even within that, by having just a big vision and a big dream and what you want, I mean, reach for it. Everybody can tell you that you can't do it, but
no, I would, Audrey Hepburn has the quote where, it's something about impossible and I'm possible is right in it.
I am possible.
I am possible is right in it. And you can go online and there's a ton of different quotes about that.
He's putting them up every day.
Yeah. No, Henry Ford says, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's so many of them out there, but I find it so true. But I think having a big vision and dreaming big and knowing that that's possible, you should be thinking 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road. You should not be worried, and I throw a lot of quotes out there because I look at them every day. we overestimate what we can do in a month and underestimate what we can do in a year. And I think if you expound on that, it's even greater than that. Our potential is limitless.
Right.
It's never too late. You're never too old.
Yeah. And it's just taking one step at a time,
right.
Not to get overwhelmed.
Yes. Unless you're, 5'1" and you're already in your 40s, you're not making it to the NBA. I'm very sorry.
Yeah. There's a couple things, but but hey, maybe you can get, NBA tickets right up close.
Right up close. Yeah.
There's things that can be done,
Yep.
But to me, faith, having faith, no matter what your religion is, and there's a lot of great ones in the county, and
there's a ton of great churches.
Me, there's just such great community intertwined with those, and there's a lot of positivity by having, a higher.
Well, one of
vision in your
one
life.
of the purposes of religion, one of the purposes of faith, of any kind of faith, is helping you to become a better person.
Yeah.
Being a better person for yourself, being a better person for those around you, and being able to give back in different ways. And for every person, that's different, right?
Yeah.
And for every person, that faith is different, regardless of religion, regardless of type of faith. Even if you don't have religion, you still have some kind of internal faith within yourself, right?
Right.
And having that positivity, having that shared bond with other people of, we're all trying to become better people.
Right. But I'll tell you, coming out of church, there are some weeks that, boy, it just makes my heart so happy.
Oh, 100%.
Or even to be prepared in moments of challenge, right? One of our favorite priests ever, history, his big go-to was his big sigh, right? So in a moment where, like, if you're overwhelmed, if you're not sure what to happen, it's just...
You take a breath, you
take
pause.
You pause in that moment.
Yeah.
And then you can move forward. And
right.
Those are just great skills.
Well, yeah, and you can listen for that clue on how to approach the situation. Sometimes the pause is the most important in terms of saying the right thing, in terms of doing the right thing, in terms of hearing that faith within you to make the right choice, right? How to support.
It's not just our perspective, but to look at it from the other person's perspective.
100%.
To view how do our actions actually impact others.
Yeah, and in that positivity, looking at the golden rule, right?
Yeah.
Looking at that, treat others as if you would want to be treated, right?
Yeah.
Which I try to remind our kids of all the time.
All the time.
So, yeah.
It's not easy being a parent.
No, so faith is really important, and
Yeah.
it's an important aspect of so many people's lives. Even if it's just going to yoga, even if it's getting up in the morning, just finding the beauty in the moment. I love getting up at 4:45, not because it's invigorating, because I am tired sometimes when I do it.
You are.
I love it because the house is quiet. I love it because I can hear myself.
Yeah.
And that's a great aspect of it as well.
How often in life we can't even hear ourselves think.
Yes.
So to find a moment in your life to just be able to listen or just enjoy silence is huge.
Yep. And to that aspect of positivity, I wanted to hit the next point that you have under there.
Oh, yeah.
Which is exercise.
Exercise.
Which for some of us, we do better than others.
Wait, exercise? I thought you said extra fries. That's me.
Exercise is a very important aspect of positivity. It breeds a lot of positivity, that energy you get from exercising.
Well, because of health. It's supporting your health and well-being.
Yeah, being small business owners, being parents of 3 kids, you are running the entire day. And having that strength from the exercise of being a healthy person makes a big difference. I was doing good at the gym. I'll get back to the gym. On some days I'm doing awesome. Sometimes I'm not. Some days I eat a bit too much ice cream.
Well, and I love on our podcast, we've had some really great groups in our studio here.
Oh, yes.
In terms of, Orange Theory, they have great resources. And
the space.
Yep, the space for the yoga studio.
Yeah.
That there's all throughout the county. It doesn't matter what you're into or what you like, that you can find something. Even if it's as simple as the walking paths and sidewalks and just enjoying the fresh air.
Yes, 100%, 100%. But get out there, do some things. I'm hoping to get back to running. I have run 2 marathons in my life. At some point, I'll run a third one. In fact, I have to run a third one before I turn 50. So I guess I'm putting it out there. I'm 48.
There you go.
So I have this year and next
training.
year. It's got to happen because I did one in my 20s, one in my 30s, and I need to do one in my 40s. So even though it's been a number of years.
Yeah, I see how this is going to go. It's, just like you did 29 and
I did 29 and 30, so I'll do 49 and 50, and I'll hit 4 decades.
There you go.
And I can tell everyone I did a marathon every decade of my life where I was in shape for 4 years total. So
it's kind of working that angle there, but you know, if it gets, because that's a big goal to have.
It is a big goal.
A marathon under your belt for 4 decades.
4 decades, yeah.
It's just a good strategy to try.
That's a good strategy to try, yes.
Yeah. And some of the things I've read about positivity, affirmations, I think are important. I know Tony Robbins does speak to that.
Yeah, Tony speaks a lot about affirmations. Again, the idea of positivity in your life, of if you say something, one of the things Tony talks about, and there's other books I've read where they talk about the same thing, our brain does not know the difference between what is real and what isn't real or hasn't happened yet if we say it.
That subconscious level.
The subconscious. So if you say to yourself over and over again every day, I am good at public speaking, your brain will think you're good at public speaking even if you're not. And the wonderful thing about that is that it'll take the fear away, and you'll become good at public speaking. And it's the same thing for anything else. If you have that positive affirmation, and it is not the Stuart Smalley positive affirmation from Saturday Night Live. It is not, I'm good enough, I'm strong enough, and gosh darn it, people like me.
Yeah,
no. but it's the positive affirmation. It's reminding yourself what your potential is.
Yeah.
And then enacting on that. And that's for other people as well. It's, if you throw that positivity out there of that affirmation, I'm going to help people today.
Yeah.
Then you're going to go out, you're going to help people.
Makes a difference. I mean, even in terms of that whole mind over matter for our little one, when she was really, really little, early on, she wasn't super duper at math, but we really tried to encourage her. And when she would get it right, we tell her all about, oh my gosh, you were so good at math. You are dynamite. You're awesome. And the craziest thing happened, that through the next 1 to 2 years, she really did get to be very good at math. And
same thing with spelling. You did the same thing with spelling.
That's true. That's very true. And so in terms of for our kids, by really having that positive messaging, right, is really what these affirmations are. It's just positive messaging.
You go further than that on the positive messaging. Every day at dinner, you ask them what the best part of their day was.
Yeah.
And that's positivity. Well, it's finding the positive.
To me, it allows them to focus in on the gratitude.
Right.
And even some of those days that they, didn't have the best day, or even ourselves included, when you train your brain to look for the positives, then you can find something that you can be grateful for, right? And then there's been other days that, whether us or the kids have like, boy, I can't even make up my mind. There's so many wonderful things that happen today. Each day is its own little adventure. Yeah. And by doing that every night and doing that all together, like that's a good little tradition that we've done with our family that I'm proud of.
It focuses you on finding that gratitude, finding that positivity, and looking at it from a truthful aspect of there's always a silver lining to everything, even on that bad day, right?
Right.
Our kids find something good,
Yeah. Exactly. Sometimes they try to pull the, well, it wasn't when this happened. Like, well, I hear ya.
Or they say everything was great. Well, no, you got to pick something.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So. And so we found that to be a lot more effective than, hey, how was your day? Or what did you do today? Or, it just helps train.
Yeah, for everyone out there, I think it's all about looking at that from that aspect. Try it with yourself. You're driving home at the end of the day. What went right today? What was good about today? What is something that I can build on for tomorrow? Or when you start out that day is what is, we're going to talk about books in a second, because the one thing, which is a great book for anyone out there, Jay Papasan and Gary Keller wrote it together. I know Gary, I'm pretty sure it was Jay on the other one, but one of the things they say is, what is one thing in your life that if that got easier, everything else would become easier because of it. And looking at that aspect on a daily basis, what is that thing that is stopping you from being successful? Or what is that thing that if I poured more energy into it, everything else would get better?
Which allows you to have momentum.
Yes, momentum.
It really gets you started.
Yep. So did you want me?
Yeah, let's hit on books.
All right. So I don't have authors in front of me, and I apologize for this.
I ambushed you, I know.
Yes. So The Compound Effect is an amazing book that, just like The One Thing, talks about the impact of the small things in your life. You know, it starts off with a story at the beginning where it talks about three men, and they're good friends. And over a 6-month period, one of them just keeps doing the same thing. One of them eats more, and you know they like were watching cooking shows, and they got a cooking class with their wife, and they just started to eat more. And the other one poured into reading self-help books and did a little bit more exercising. And then looking 6 months down the road, a year down the road, at how different these three people are that on day one started on the same page, to see the impact of the small things in your life. Another book, a book I'm reading right now, it's called Big Potential. We were down at the Keller Williams conference, and we heard the author of this speak. Do you remember his name?
Phenomenal.
Yes, I don't remember his name right now. But Big Potential is a great book, and it talks about the impact of happiness in your life and the impact that your powerful focus has on the other people around you and how it can unlock big potential.
Sean Archer.
Yes, Sean. So it was amazing. The Miracle Morning is another really good one, talking about that aspect of the things you do every day and getting up really early. The 12-Week Year is another really good book. I've read a number of, Eat the Frog is a great book as well.
Ew.
Eat the Frog is a book about doing that thing in the morning that you know you need to do, but you don't want to do, and just getting out of the way. Because if you leave it there, one, you're going to find reasons not to do it. And two, something that was not that hard to do becomes so huge and encompassing that it affects everything around it negatively.
Because of that dread, right?
Yes.
That dread, once you give it air, you give it enough energy to build, then it makes it so much worse than it really should be.
Any of those things. And I go back to public speaking. I think public speaking is one of them because people talk about it so much.
Yeah.
Like the number one fear is public speaking. The number two fear is death.
That's terrible.
It is, but that's what they say, that people build up things unconsciously into these huge things where you could build up your positivity unconsciously at the same time.
Yeah.
So why not? Why allow negativity to come into your life? Why allow that to cut you down when for the same amount of energy or even less, you plant the right seeds and you've increased your positivity instead. And then you make your life better and the lives of everyone around you better. Yeah. So why not be positive? Why not look on the bright side of everything? Yeah.
It's kind of the road to happiness.
Exactly.
It's possible there.
Yeah. So anything else you wanted to click on? Because, I found out about this topic about an hour ago.
Surprise!
and it's wonderful to talk about. Any last thoughts?
I don't know. Just that the world needs more positivity.
And on that positivity front, I would say we would be positively grateful if you listened to our podcast.
Yes.
We would be positively grateful if you went and checked out the businesses we have on every week. I will tell you, to every single one of those businesses out there, you all inject positivity into my life. Yes. It is so wonderful to hear about the wonderful things you're doing, about the involvement in the community, and it makes us strive to be better people because wow to all of them for the impact they have individually and as a group on the community.
Absolutely. We've been very excited about this, but it's, been so educational. I would have to say I haven't been prouder of being in this community since we've done this.
Oh yeah, no, and it's so podcast. Wonderful. Yes. And to all of you people out there listening that own a business, if you're in Livingston County, please reach out to us. I would love to sit down and talk to you.
We've talked to such wonderful businesses, and there's been businesses that I didn't even know about.
Yep.
It's
And if you're a
exciting to feature
restaurant,
them.
bring your food because I love eating all of
There
it.
we go. There we go. And we've definitely tried to get some restaurants on. They're busy people. So that's been tougher. But we certainly look forward to continuing to bring you guys new content. And we hope that you enjoy it. We hope that you check it out. Livingston County, Michigan is an amazing place. And we're so proud that we are realtors in it and get to live, work, and enjoy all that Livingston has to offer.
Yes. So thank you for listening today. Check us out, subscribe to us, reach out to us. And if you have need of real estate, we would love to help you out. So I guess we end with welcome to Livingston.